everyone, and welcome to my escape. For the past couple of weeks, I have been dog sitting, so this is Frankie. So I figured, why not do a video on book recommendations with great dogs in them? It just worked out in my list that there's exactly 10, which is a very nice number to work with. So I have 3 contemporary romances, 3 dark romances, 2 fantasy romances, 1 high fantasy, and 1 general fiction. And this is based on anything from I liked the vibes of the dog and I thought he was cute to I liked the relationship between the dog and the person. So let's get into it. So the first recommendation I actually read this month, and it's Reckless by Elsie Silver. And it is a small town cowboy romance, secret baby. Yeah, we love it. So essentially, Winter, she leaves behind her husband, her career, her manipulative family, and she moves to a small town to reconnect with her estranged sister. And she just so happens to have a spicy one-night stand, ending in pregnancy and her being unable to contact this guy till after the baby is born. Then when he comes back and does some quick math and everything, he realizes he needs to be a part of this baby's life, and they go about working how they're going to make this like family dynamic work, and if there's anything between them or if it's going to be more of a co-parenting situation. Where the dog comes in, so the male main character has like a little like ratty chihuahua that he picked up on the streets of Mexico, and he just fell in love with this little like half-deaf, very like picky kind of dog, and I just love that. I love that he's not like your cute, fluffy, traditionally adorable, as Frankie is, dog. He literally kind of sounds like he's a little bit ugly and a little bit unpleasant, and I'm obsessed with that because the girl is not really into it, and then she ends up having the dog sit for a day, and she is just attached to this dog now, but not like attached in the sense of like, oh, I love you, but like they mutually are like, I will put up with you and I recognize you as part of the family, but I'm going to continue to be sassy and grumpy. And I love that for both of them. I love the dynamics there, and then in the end, I won't spoil anything, but her and the dog were just so cute. So cute. I loved it, so that definitely has to make the list. The second recommendation is another contemporary romance, and it is Unbreak Me. So there's 3 male love interests, 1 female love interest. There's no sword crossing. They're all straight men, and they all just live in a house together. Avery, this young mom, flees from her abusive marriage when her husband breaks their child's arm, so she takes her daughter and she runs, and she's got no money, no connections, no nothing, and she ends up on the streets and runs into 2 of the 3 men out there. So the second guy was like, I can't let you live out here, I'll give you a job, you can clean our house and you can cook for us and you can live there, and it gives you a place to stay and some income. And he brings her home, and then the story kind of evolves from there. Avery and the kid were adorable. The love interest didn't really stand out to me, but I was definitely there for Avery and the kids, and I felt so like connected to them. It was just, it was so cute. The dog comes in because there's a German Shepherd named Kanga. He is also used to be in the military with the 3 guys and is decommissioned. I'm not sure what the term is for a dog that no longer works in the military. Anyways, he is amazing. He immediately takes to the kid. That's kind of like the meet cute, as the dog runs up to the kid and the kid's so excited about the dog, and that's how she meets the first guy. And the dog does not like fade off into the background in this one. Like, he's in so many of the scenes, and watching him play and just love everybody. He was so cute, just made me want to have my own dog. But yeah, so cute, so adorable. Love Kanga, and just adorable. The third book is Hush Darling, and I actually just talked about this one in my disability recommendation video. So it follows another woman fleeing from an abusive relationship actually, and she's pregnant when she leaves, and she stumbles across these cabins and kind of, you know, just makes one her own for the moment, illegally. Anyways, the guy that owns these cabins, he's deaf, and he's out there running 5 cabins alone, just chilling in complete isolation, and the only kind of connection he has in his life is a dog, and I'm obsessed with that. So I don't remember quite what this dog was. I want to say he was like a beagle or something, but I don't actually know. I just loved that it was just him and this dog on the mountain. So freaking cute. I loved seeing, specifically in this book, how the main character adapted the house to suit his needs and everything for a deaf person living alone in the woods, and how the dog kind of played into that, and how the dog was able to like be trained and understand the different like aspects of the house, and how it didn't really like occur to the dog that anything about that was weird. I just loved it. And of course then the female main character comes in interacting with the dog, and the dog's all about it, and so cute. Loved it. Love when couples take a dog for a walk and all that fun stuff. So super cute. I actually really love this story. The male main character does have a background of why he's living up in the woods alone, and you kind of are wondering about that as the story goes on. You're kind of waiting for it to tell you. The book in general wasn't my favorite, but I did love the representation. I did love the dog, and I did think it had its really cute moments, especially in the beginning. Into some darker romances. I don't know if you would consider Losers a dark romance or just a contemporary spicy romance, so I'm just gonna put it here. But you've heard me talk about the series before. I just read it this summer and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. Read the first, the second, and the prequel novella and gave them all 5 stars. So good, so good. Essentially the story is a polyamorous synctuplet. So there's 5 of them, there's 1 girl, there's 4 guys. They all interact and love each other and everything. And essentially all the story is these post-college age people trying to figure out their sexualities, their needs, trying to grow as people, and trying to just love the people around them and overcome their own trauma and kind of deal with things in their backstories, while the entire society and town around them hates them and does everything they do to stop them from being happy and to growing into being people. So, you know, we hate the town, we do, but we love them, we love their perseverance, and we love their capacity for love. I just love the series so much. How much more can I say love for one series? But anyways, the guys in this all live together in one house and they have 2 dogs. And I just loved it. I loved how loyal the dogs were to the family, but I also love when the dog like recognizes the love interest from the start, and there's like that like mysticism of like the dog knows, you know? So she does some illegal stuff on their property before they start dating, and the dogs, although they chase her down, they don't like hurt her or anything like that. They go, we're mad at you because you're hurting our people and our family, but also we know that you're gonna be special. And I just love that. So I thought it was so cute. The dogs in this one weren't a big part of it, but they were come back to in another story and mentioned, and just the casual things like taking the dog out to the bathroom, or, you know, what is the dog eating, or the dogs playing together. Or it brings me joy, and I really liked it. So it took a series that I already loved and made me love it even more. So the 5th book is a Mafia romance, and it's Captured by a Sinner. I didn't love the story, to be honest, but I did love the dog aspect. So this Mafia romance opens, basically this girl is 17 and she's chilling in her room. Hi, buddy. And she's chilling in her room, and then some guy comes in and murders her whole family. And then when he gets to her, he's like, well, I can't kill a kid, so I'll just kidnap you, take you to my house, wait for you to become of age, and then send you off in the world. So it's a little problematic because then she does get kidnapped and goes to his place, and then he's like, I'm actually not ready to let you go when you turn 18, so I'm gonna keep you till you're 21. Which is weird. It was weird, okay? But we're gonna bypass that for now, because despite all that, the male main character had such like cute moments, and he really went all out for her birthday and was like, I want to make her feel welcomed and like have everything she needs to succeed and everything, so I'm gonna internet stalk her. I know guys, it's creepy. I'm gonna internet stalk her and find out like her likes and all this. So he takes her on this big like birthday day, which is so freaking cute. And yes, there was a book shopping expedition in there, which I think is why I love it so much. But anyways, at the end of this day, they come back to the house, and he had found on her profile that she'd always wanted this certain breed of dog from a puppy, and she was never allowed a dog. So he, to make it for this like special day, he basically traffics in this puppy from another country, traffics it into the States to give it to her for her birthday, and then now she's got this puppy that she's always dreamed of. The other part of that I really love, see her like train the dog and deal with like the things of like a puppy. You then had to see this mafia man, this scary mafia man, also deal with like, oh hey, it's a puppy, it's going to poop on your floors. And he's a big scary mafia man. I just loved it. I just loved it all. So the 6th book I have for you, and the last of the dark romance, is actually another mafia romance. And this was the #1 book that when I was like, I want to make this video, this is the first one that popped into my head and the one I'm like most attached to because of the dogs. Do I love the book? No. So essentially there's a spoiled princess who has Russian history, and she goes to Russia and she gets kidnapped by the head of the Pravda because she didn't know that family had ties to the mafia over there. So she gets kidnapped by the head of the Russian mafia and basically held in his countryside mansion. So again, problematic. It's a mafia romance, but it has other problematic things. It wasn't my favorite because of the problematic things. But what I loved is that on the property, the guy had this whole like dog compound thing, and he basically raised attack dogs. So German Shepherds, vicious, raised kind of to kill and attack and guard and all that sort of stuff. So they're locked away behind this fence, and she kind of wins them over just with treats and food and love. And that to me was like adorable, because these dogs aren't getting a whole lot of love. I assume they're not really treated the best, but you know what? She comes out and she loves them, and there's one that just, she cannot win over, and everyone's like, stay away from him, like he is unhinged, like it's bad, like just never go near him. But she just couldn't let this like one dog go, so she's just constantly trying to like forge a relationship with it. And then she ends up in this like precarious situation with the dog, and I just love it. I just love it just so much. It was so freaking cute and a little bit like You Stupid, but You Stupid in a good way, because I like to read about it. I loved it. Okay, so that would be my main one. If you want to read a book for the dogs, read this one. It's not a great book, but it's a great book with the dogs. Now we're going into the fantasy romance. So the 7th book I have for you is called Bitten by Death. Essentially in this trilogy, the female main character wakes up as a vampire, and she's like, how did I become a vampire? And then the god of death comes and steps in and goes, you can't be a vampire, they're illegal, I'm gonna kill you. And she's like, please don't kill me, I don't want to die, how about I help you figure out who turned me into a vampire? And he was like, okay, why not? So then they team up. The dog part of this is super, super cute, because the god of death has all these little reapers that go out into the world, and they collect the souls of the dead, and they bring them back to the god of death, and that's their job, except they're dog-shaped. So technically they're not dogs, they're reapers, but they're dog-shaped. And the vampire sees them and goes, oh, puppies, and just loves them and adores them and everything. And then he like comes and sees him, he's like, why are you rubbing my reaper's belly? And she's like, what do you mean? This is a dog. And he's like, it is not a dog. Why are my reapers loving you like this? And all the reapers adore her, because she gives them pats and she gives them treats and she just loves them. And I just loved the whole interactions. I loved her with the reapers, because that would be me. I would also say, like, I don't care if you're actually ferrying the souls of the dead around. You're dog-shaped. I love you. And then I loved the interactions with the male main character being like, stop domesticizing, I don't know if that's a word, stop domesticizing my reapers. And she's like, no, I will not, because they're fluffy and they deserve pats. And I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. So that one was just really cute and really fun. The story in general was also just a really fun read. I liked both of them. I definitely will be going back to finish it. It's not super in-depth. It's not super deep. It's not heavy world building. It was just fun. So the 8th book is Restless Slumber. I can't really get into what it is because it's the second in the series, but the first is Fortuna Sworn, and essentially she wants to rescue her kidnapped brother, and she has to go to the fairy world to do that. So they're all mythological creatures, or fairy creatures, or whatever you want to call them. There's a whole bunch of different creatures, and she's one of them, and I can't tell you what she is, but she makes a deal with this guy that she will marry him in exchange for information on her brother. So it's marriage of convenience. There's like trials and tribulations, there's challenges, there's multi-world, there's everything, and I love it. And she just goes to extreme lengths for family and for her brother. So obviously the second book, I can't tell you much without spoiling the first, but I do love it. And then this werewolf dog is introduced in the second, and it is just so freaking cute. So the dog is actually on the cover of this one, even though he's not a dog, but I'm gonna call him a dog, okay? He's a werewolf, so he actually does have like a person inside, but he has been a werewolf for so long, he's kind of trapped in that form, and he's so used to it that he has a lot of like, he's more dog than he is man. And I just love it, because if you're gonna walk around in dog form, I'm gonna call you a dog. In like, not a mean way, in an adorable way, and I love you way. So for this one, I just loved their connection. He followed her around. It was like that very like much like the loyal companion. And everywhere she went, he wanted to be, and he had this like loyalty to her. She recognized that like the way he was being treated was wrong, so she kind of got him out of the situation, and then that got her his loyalty. And I just love the lengths that they'll go to for one another, the understanding, the reasoning, the support, the lack of judgment. I just love it all. Just how accepting it was. It was just so cute. It was just adorable, and I loved it, and I need it. So yes, not technically a dog in this one. He is a werewolf, but he's more dog than he is person. And then book 9 is just a pure fantasy, high fantasy. It is Well of Ascension. And again, the dog in this one is not a dog, it's a shapeshifter. But I am going to call it dog, because it is in dog form, and nobody else around them knows it's a shapeshifter. It's only the main character that really knows. So we love that because they really do like develop like a very trusting relationship, and he's there with her always, and he sees everything she's doing, and it gives the vibes of like if your dog could talk, because he sees it all and he's there for everything, and he's like this confidant, and they really like bridge their differences because they are different species and they don't see things the same way and they don't understand each other, but being able to communicate kind of allows them to bridge those gaps, and it develops just like this really meaningful connection and this really great understanding and friendship between the two, and I just loved it, and it was so freaking cute. I think I actually put them down in the book trek tag I did as the best unlikely friendship, but in this one I'm gonna say he's dog. In that one I said he was more like person level. In this one I'm gonna say he's more dog level, so it does vary depending on my needs, but that was a really cute one and it did give me dog vibes and I did love it. Okay, and then the 10th recommendation I have is Lessons in Chemistry, and it's just a general fiction book. It follows Elizabeth Zott, and she is a chemist in the 1960s, and she faces all these barriers and obstacles because she's a woman in the 1960s in the science field. So it very much is kind of what are the obstacles that are there, how is she treated, how is she mistreated, how is she misunderstood and underestimated, and how that affects every aspect of her life. The book is phenomenal, really good. Whether you want to read it for the dog or not, I give this one 5 stars and I would recommend it to anybody. And it does have a very unique writing style because it does jump POVs kind of out of nowhere, and it'll be like to a random character here, a random character there. Just, it gives you a greater breadth of the world, I would say, and it really does work for this book. But one of these POVs that keeps appearing is actually the dogs. Bear with me, okay? Stay with me because it does really work for this book. I know saying it out loud, I'm like, I would not want to read that. Okay, it's an adult book, why do I have a perspective of a dog? But it fits so well. It's so interesting to see like how the dog understands the world and comprehends and processes the events that are going on. It's really good, and he's not like your normal dog, okay? So his name's 630, he knows like 312 words, and he's just great. The main protagonist isn't exactly average either, so it makes sense that her dog's a bit weird as well. And then you just really felt for him in terms of like there was the loss of an owner in there, and dealing with like a new child and like a new environment and everything. And I loved it. I loved 630. I loved this book. Read it because there's a dog in there. Read it because there's a dog's perspective in there. Read it because it's just a phenomenal book. Definitely highly recommend this one. But that's all I've got for dog recommendations. Frankie did not make it till the end of this video with us. He went for some water and then went and grabbed his toy and kept dropping it around the house. Comment below what your best read with a dog is, because I love reading about dogs and stories. Not when they're like the center of the story, like Lassie, but when it's a different story with like dogs in it, I love reading about those. So definitely comment your best rec down below because I will pick it up because I need more. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I post videos every Friday and sometimes on Tuesdays, so ring that bell for notifications so you don't miss anything. And if you'd like to see more of me, I have an Instagram and a Goodreads, so I will link those down in the caption below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!